general profile was that we were dealing with a triangular object, the size of a jumbo jet, equipped with 3 very strong spotlights, a rotating, a pulsating red light in the middle. We also talk about an object that had a vertical development. Those who could see it from the side saw a dome on the top of it. And in this dome there were windows, which were in the evening lit at the inside. The behavior was very special because it could hover without making any noise. Some witnesses saw it hovering in a vertical position, the nose up, the triangle up, and even turning on its vertical axis. The object had the capability to fly at very slow speeds, turn very quickly and in a tight turn, and also accelerate extremely fast. There were other reports mentioning a rectangular object, which was somewhat different. Some people described it as a big, like aircraft carrier type of object, turned upside down with a vertical development downwards, with a modular structure. It was totally different, and also the lights were different, but that seemed to be one, and in 2 cases an object like that was observed as well. When occurrences come forward, somebody has to take charge of it. But all those who are in this world for a possible investigation will come back and say, it's not in my terms of reference. Today, when you go to a staff, an air staff, nobody will tell you that in their terms of reference there is a responsibility in case of a UFO observation. When it came to me, of course I didn't look at my terms of reference, but I said immediately, it is of our business because there is a violation of our airspace, and that becomes a security issue. You don't know what these craft are, where they come from, what their intentions are. It could be terrorists. It could be. So at least let's try to find out what we are talking about. And it's, if you're in charge of air defense, it's your responsibility to make sure that there is no security issue, that there is no possibility that the population would be threatened by an unknown craft or an unknown system. We first of all try to find out whether this was a conventional craft or not after the first report. And one of the options was that it would have been an experimental craft, then not a Belgian one, because I was sure that we didn't have such experimental craft. But I came in touch with the United States via the embassy, via the attaché, and also with the UK, and asked formally the question whether they were doing experimental flights over Belgium. And the answer was no. And the answer came very quickly. It was no. Also, they confirmed that they would never do such a flight without prior authorization of the nation involved. Because within NATO, within the NATO community, we respect the independency of the nations. And this is one of the strict rules in NATO. You don't do any exercise without the authorization of the country you're exercising in. We took this photograph as a kind of an example how the Belgian UFO looked like. But in fact, what came forward now is that he made a model out of styrofoam, and he has put some lights in, and he based himself on the witness declarations that were already known before he took the photograph. He came up with a story how he took the photograph, so it was not only him, there was a witness as well. That was the first step that was done. A second important issue was that the photograph was analyzed, and it was discovered and it was seen that there was no tampering with the slide. It was a slide. So whether the object was real or not is very difficult to determine. But we can see that there was indeed no tricks around, that it was a very clear-cut photograph. So in fact this photograph was only published 1.5 years after the first observations. And in my opinion, it didn't have any influence at all on all the witness reports which were done before. So it has no influence, in fact, on the Belgian wave. But it's very unfortunate that we have showed this photograph as being the brand of the Belgian wave, as being the object that has been operating above Belgium. And unfortunately, that photograph seems to be fake now. Well, I was visited by the security advisor of the Commission of the Senate of Appropriation. And he said they were interested in this case because the reported phenomena, he confirmed, did not match with any of the US black programs. So he was interested in the case and he asked some information about it, and I gave him that information. I don't know whether it was formally investigated in the United States or not, but they were curious to know what was going on in Belgium. We don't know of any propulsion system that can hold a craft in the air of the size of a jumbo jet without making any noise and without moving, just hovering. We don't have that technology today. And I think that incites curiosity of I would say, those who are working in the area to improve whatever we have available today of power generation in an aircraft. Any nation should be interested in a technology that demonstrated that it's more capable than what we have today. And I think the United States must be interested in that. One of the important issues and recommendations also is that every country should have a reporting point and should collect information within their country and exchange that information with other countries having a reporting point. Today what we know is that a few countries have that, but still they didn't reach the stage yet that they have formal exchange of information. And I think that would be very important, that there could be, that they could establish a link between some observations in one country as opposed to another one. And that's not done until today. There were about 2,000 reported sightings, but there are much more than that, because not everybody reports. Some people don't know to whom to report. We estimate that there must have been between 15 and 20,000 sightings. And that's a lot, of course, and that's not only a lot, but that also adds up to the credibility of this UAP wave. And for me, that is the most important. There are technical aspects, such as this photograph, such as the interception of the F-16, but I'm relying and basing myself mainly on the credibility of several witnesses, which in the meantime I knew myself, and I contacted myself, spoke to them many times, And I have no doubt that they are telling me the truth. We have hundreds of reports of credible witnesses, and they stand by their observation. They come back on it, and when you talk to them, they will hold on to the observation. And they're still impressed today with what they have seen. I would have my doubts if there would only be a few, but there are hundreds of them. And if you go in the area where the observations were made, you will discover more people. They will come forward and say, I've seen one as well, but I didn't report it for such and such reason. So they come spontaneously forward and saying that indeed that thing was there. And I think that's the most convincing for me, talking to people and talking again to the same people years later, 20 years later, and they stand by their position that they saw objects very clearly which did not fit any technology that was available then and that is available now. So I'm convinced that there have been activities, air activities, over Belgium which cannot be defined.